Hello, this is James Arthur Ray, the author of the New York Times bestseller, Harmonic Wealth. And I want to talk to you today about a couple of things. Stress, which I'm sure you want to avoid, and the law of correspondence, one of the 7 laws of the universe. Let's start with stress. Hans Selye, an endocrinologist, did massive research on stress. And what he found was that the body produces stress regardless of whether the information coming into our body mind is, quote, positive or negative. That's right. In fact, the body processes those things very similarly. However, how we define that is what determines our experience. Selye says there's 2 types of stress. There's distress, which often leads to dis-ease, because it's things that we choose to avoid. And then there's eustress, which is spelled E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S. And what he said is that eustress is a good thing. In fact, you cannot accomplish or achieve in the world without eustress. Eustress is that compelling pull, what I call your future pull, that is pulling you forward and compelling you forward to accomplish things in life. You know, I went through a tour of wine country. I love red wine. Not white wine. It's too much sugar. But red wine in moderation is good for you and it tastes good. And I love wine because it's such a great metaphor for life. As I was touring wine country and I was looking at the vines, the gentleman who was taking us on the tour was telling us about how they purposefully underwater the grape. How they purposefully overstress, oversun the grape. And what they find is that the grape that can withstand the greatest amount of stress and not disintegrate becomes the finest, most expensive wine. Now I'm curious, is there a metaphor here? Yes, I think there is. And this brings us to the law of correspondence. You know, in my upcoming book, The Secret of True Wealth, I talk about the 7 laws that govern this universe. You know, the law of attraction was all the buzz, years ago. And one of the greatest problems I find when people say the law of attraction doesn't work is that they don't understand that you can't force fit the entire universe into one law. There are 7 laws that govern this universe, at least that we know of, maybe more, but at least 7. And when you understand all the laws, then you begin to recognize how things really are unfolding. Because the fact of the matter is, you like me know that sometimes universal will has a greater plan for us than our small personal will. And many times, if not most, the way that our small personal will thinks we need to get to where we want to go is very different than the cosmic GPS. And I hope you can follow that metaphor as well. But the law of correspondence is one of those laws, and it basically says that if you want to understand how you work, look at how nature works. If you want to understand cosmic will, then look at personal will. If you want to understand how nature works, look at how we work, because everything is repeating patterns. And even fractal geometry tells us that everything in this universe is repeating patterns. And so if we want to develop, advance, and grow at our greatest potential, if we want to become stronger, better, wiser, smarter, faster, more accomplished, then how do we do that? Well, let's look around us. How does the grape become the finest wine? It is subjected to the greatest stress. You know, I will be forever grateful for my years of bodybuilding back in my 20s, a long time ago, because what I learned and what I think every athlete learns is that to become stronger, faster, better, you have to stress the muscles. And yet, how is it that we show up attempting to build a business as an entrepreneur and we're looking for the easy way? How is it that so many people are running around searching for the magic pill or the silver bullet? It doesn't exist. Yes, there are ways to accelerate your growth, and yes, there are paths that are more efficient and effective than others, and there are tools and techniques that you can learn. But at the end of the day, you're going to struggle, because struggle is how we grow. Imagine going into the gym on New Year's, when most people start their New Year's resolution, and saying to the personal trainer, I want to get leaner, I want to get stronger, and I want to get more fit, and I don't want to sweat, and I don't want to have any pain. Right? They're going to tell you, hey, man, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because it just doesn't work that way. Pain is the mother of all growth. Not popular, I know, but true nonetheless. And one of the things I'm committed to is I'm always going to tell you straight up, raw and real, how things truly are. If you're going to be on an accelerated path of growth, if you're going to make a huge potential impact in the world, then you've got to commit to deliberate practice over a long, long haul. According to Jeff Colvin's work, at least 20 years. Studies of the highest achievers, the greatest entrepreneurs, tell time after time that they made great sacrifice on the way to their greatness. Don't be afraid of sacrifice. Don't be afraid of struggle, because those stresses, struggles, and sacrifices are how you become better, bigger, stronger, faster, wiser, more awake and alive. It's in those times when the juices are flowing, when the endorphins are pumping, that you know that you're really, truly living. You with me? You've been there. I know you have. Let's not fool ourselves into this romanticism that says, I want to find the magic pill. I want to have an easy life. Life is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be meaningful. Bill Gates did not take one day's vacation for 6 years. Not one day off for 6 years when he built Microsoft. Right? Study after study shows that the highest achieving entrepreneurs, Mark Cuban, many others, didn't take a salary for 10 years when they were building their companies. You've got to be willing to pay the price. You've got to be willing to struggle. I've coined what I call the entrepreneur's struggle. We can talk more about that in another session, because I've been on a roll here for a while. You can tell I'm passionate about this, because you see, it's time for us to wake up, to awaken, and to enliven, and to realize that life is meant to be lived on fire. Life is meant to be lived in the struggle and the sacrifice. The original meaning of sacrifice, please remember, is to make sacred. Okay, I'm going to tone it down here. I'm going to reel it back. Hopefully I've given you some things to think about. We'll talk some more. Until we speak again, stay awake, love life, and be epic.